Hello, my name is Murray, and welcome to the Joy of the Real Show. I'm here with my co-host Corey, and today we'll be looking through some films, some documentaries, and some television shows, and we're going to have a little bit of fun along the way. We only use a dozen sources or so, and some nice trivia games, and as well, we'll also be partaking in a nice weekly rec at the end. I'm accompanied by my co-host Corey. Say hello to the people, Corey.
Sorry, I was just beating the devil out of it.
Nice, nice. Nice. If you didn't get that intro, listeners, today we will be discussing the recent Bob Ross documentary on Netflix, Bob Ross, Happy Accidents, Betrayal and Greed. And of course, welcome to The Real Show. My name is Muriel with my co-host Corey. We are The Real Guys. And this is The Real Show with two ears. We've got a full-on show for you today. We're going to be talking about the documentary recently. If you haven't watched it, obviously, spoiler alert here.
Yeah.
You know, stop listening. Go watch it. Go watch it and come back and then listen to our thoughts. Instagram on The Real Show, Twitter on The Real Show, you know it. Google, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, all that. Let's get into it as fast as we possibly can. Hello, Corey. I've not spoken to you for a couple of days.
Hello. Yeah, it's been. We essentially just took a week off.
We essentially did from the Bad Batch episode to here. We've just taken a bit of time, but I think we're back. We're fresh. We're better than ever. Again, we didn't really have a break in production, so here we are, and obviously we both took time out of our busy schedules, our busy days, to watch this documentary. Now, you obviously referenced the entire intro is my best Bob Ross impression. Do you have a Bob Ross impression?
Oh God, to be fair, that's the only thing I ever quote from Bob Ross is "beat the devil out of it."
Oh, beat the devil out of it! I've got nothing to beat. I've gone.
I hit my hand on a tripod. That's what I did.
Oh, nice.
I was looking around for wood. I was like, "What have I got? A tripod? That'll do."
Yeah. That's all right. But obviously it is. Everyone needs to take in a bit of Bob Ross every now and then. Obviously, for people who are unfamiliar with Bob Ross probably the most famous TV art instructor painter of all time. He is famous for his happy trees. He is a media personality. He's become a sort of a very wholesome meme, as you'd call it.
Exactly.
He's an internet personality. He's an American painter. He's an art instructor. He's a television host of The Joy of Painting from 1983 to 1994 on PBS, which is public broadcasting service or something like that.
I think you're correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and they aired all over the world. And he's one of the most recognisable faces in, I think, more so America than over here.
Yeah. Well, he came over here. It's one of the things where later on he kind of appears.
Yeah, he does.
Like it's more recently that he's been a thing over here.
Yeah. And his programmes are actually airing on BBC 4 now.
They are. They're literally. I think it's as constantly as was on loop.
Yeah. Well, BBC 4 is like the art channel, isn't it?
Yeah, and it was on Twitch at some point for a while.
Yeah.
It was going on loops, and it's like, okay, fair enough.
They aired the entire series on Twitch more than once.
Yeah.
From start to end, from episode 1, season 1, to season 31, episode 13. They air the entire series, which is great. It's just great to watch, and I've watched the Twitch streams. You know, whenever he used to beat the devil out of it. Whenever he used to beat the devil, we used to have, PogChamp, Devil is Dead in chat. R.I.P. Devil. They used to do the happy trees and all that, happy mountains, happy skies.
Exactly.
I'm a fan.
You are a fan, Murray.
I'm a big fan. I'm so much of a fan that obviously I haven't been this year and last year, but 2019, I go to Birmingham Comic Con every year, pretty much for the last 4 or 5 years. And the most recent year I went, 2019, I went as Bob Ross himself. I did. I bought my initial plan was, before we start talking about the documentary,
yes,
my initial plan was to be Bob Ross at the Halloween party. But then that kind of fell through the floor.
Yeah.
But I'd still purchased a wig. I'd still gone out to the Halloween store and bought an 80s disco afro. Right, and I thought, I'll buy this and I'll go Halloween. Halloween plans fell through. That was all right. So I thought, I'll go Comic Con then, because people at Comic Con are probably going to know who Bob Ross is, right?
Yeah, surely.
So I got the outfit, not very hard. Jeans, belt,
yeah, exactly.
Just white button-up shirt, easy. Get a paintbrush from the garage. Just normal shoes, loafers. That's all you need, really. I didn't have facial hair at the time, so I just put it on with makeup. Just splattered a beard on myself. afro, wore the afro, Bob Ross. Everyone loved it. I was getting loads of people going over.
Well, that's the thing. It's budget cosplay. Bob Ross.
Yeah, budget cosplay. You don't need much. You don't need much to cosplay Bob Ross, do you? Because the outfit is timeless.
Exactly.
That's what he always said. He always said he never wanted to wear anything that would fall out of fashion. So he just thought, button-up T-shirt, jeans, that's always going to be in fashion, and it still is today.
Exactly, and he wore it constantly. Same outfit, consistent man.
Consistently, yeah, exactly. That's Steve Jobs.
Exactly, yeah.
You want to wear the same outfit. You want to wear the same outfit every day. So, and he was always wearing it in every picture that they show in the documentary. He's often wearing that same outfit. But let's go into the documentary. First of all, you probably know less about the situation than I do.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
So what was your sort of first exposure to this? I told you about it, but
what, to a documentary or to Bob Ross?
Yes, to the documentary.
Okay, so I knew it was happening. I heard it about Netflix is doing a Bob Ross documentary. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, cool. It'll be about Bob Ross, and it'll be a nice, happy documentary about Bob Ross and what he did. And then you said you wanted to review it for the show. And I was like, okay, cool. And me and my brother saw it on Netflix. And we're like, oh, well, we'll wait for that a little bit to watch it. And then I saw a post on Facebook which was like, don't buy anything Bob Ross merch-wise because they don't get any money from it. And I was like, it's in the new documentary, go watch it. And I saw that and I thought, well, that's not what I was expecting documentary-wise. And then I knew we were doing it, so I went to go watch it.
The trailer was very vague. If you would watch the trailer, it's very vague.
Yeah.
It's almost like a horror movie trailer. There's a picture of Bob Ross, and suddenly Bob Ross starts to fade out of the picture, and then someone says, "I've been waiting to tell this story a long time." And then you get the creepy music, like dun dun.
To be fair, I've not seen the trailer, but the way you're describing it does sound like a horror movie.
It does sound like a horror movie. And the music's really creepy. And I'm like, oh my god, what are they gonna do? Are they gonna is there some kind of secret about Bob Ross that I didn't know about that's gonna ruin it forever? But no, Bob Ross is surprisingly safe in this documentary. He's safe.
He is. He's very safe.
Yeah, he is. Arguably, you like him more after this.
Yeah.
Because you realise how he was just a nice, honest man who didn't want the money. Wasn't out for any of the gain.
Well, yeah, and it's also one of the things where, like, when you see someone on TV, you're always kind of curious of, is it an act or are they like that? And you kind of realise that
really like that.
Exactly, he is how he acts.
When I first showed Bob Ross to my mum, right?
Yeah.
And I talk about my mum a lot on this show.
You showed Bob Ross to your mum?
I did.
Did she know who he was before that?
No, she had no idea. She had no idea who he was, because obviously it was when she was growing up, they weren't really that big.
Yeah, true.
He's never really been over here, so she had no idea who Bob Ross was.
She had Steve Buchanan instead.
Yeah. Or like Tony Hart or someone. Yeah. So I showed Bob Ross to my mum, and she watched the episode fully with me, and she was like, "Is he a character?"
Yeah. And
I was like, "What do you mean character?" And then she said, "Is he like Alan Partridge or something? Is he like Keith Lemon or is it like an act?" And I goes, "No, that's how he really is."
Is it like
and she didn't really believe me.
I'm suddenly imagining Bob Ross painting and just all of a sudden going, "Here's a little tree, randomly, and just keep going.
Yeah. But she said, "Is he like a character?" Like, no, he's not a character. He's an actual man. He's a real man. And honestly, I don't have many idols in this world.
No.
But I don't have many people who I say, I want to be like this person. But if I could be like anyone, I'd probably want to be like Bob Ross.
Yeah, exactly.
He just seemed like a nice, wholehearted man, just a kind soul who just loved fast cars and painting, and sharing the love and sharing the joy with everybody. So it was just I feel like, yes, I enjoyed the documentary. There were parts of it that I thought was quite, it's a very emotional ride, the whole thing.
It is.
It wasn't like a gotcha film.
No.
It wasn't like this reveals that Bob Ross is a horrible person. No, but Bob Ross still is kept as the kind figure who's still very nice and genuine. But it revolves around what happened after he died.
Yes.
It revolves around after his death in 1995 at the age of 52. What happened to his estate and what happened to his company, Bob Ross Inc. I'll let you speak if you have any.
I mean, it's because again, I just assumed that the Bob. I knew that the Bob Ross Inc. existed. I knew they sold paints and all this other stuff, and obviously you've got merch, you've got Funko Pops, you've got whatnot, and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
I just assumed it was a family thing because I knew he had a kid, which is Steve. And I thought, okay, maybe he runs it because he's not really in the public at all.
No.
So I thought maybe he just does it behind the scenes and he does his own stuff. And it wasn't until this where I found out that he literally owned essentially nothing and his family owned none of it. And they tried to get him to sign it away just before he died.
Yes, they did.
And
this was all done by Bob Ross's business partners.
Yes.
Annette and Walt Kowalski, who there's another Bob Ross documentary that exists. It's called Bob Ross the Happy Painter, which I've watched, and we probably won't review it. To be honest, I was about to say we probably won't review it because it's quite honestly, after I've seen this, it's quite honestly a puff piece.
Yeah,
it portrays the Kowalskis as, you know, angel saints who delivered Bob Ross to the world. When this documentary clearly portrays the polar opposite picture.
Yes.
Of the Kowalskis were quite devious and quite cunning with their business strategies, and taping phone calls and lying to people up until Bob Ross passed away.
I mean, yeah, it wasn't good. It definitely wasn't good.
No. What did you? What was your sort of? Obviously, with these documentaries, we have to really take into account
Yes.
There has take into account people's opinions and the evidence that was presented. But I'm inclined to obviously believe Bob's son, Steve.
Yes.
And how everything went down with that, and how the fact that Bob wanted him to take over the show, but he didn't want that.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I'm also, I think, inclined to more believe the family aspect, and I could see it. The whole fact that Bob Ross kind of made himself look like he wasn't as skilled as his son when he'd bring his son in, and he'd get his son to do the episodes. And you can kind of tell it. Okay, yeah, maybe he does. He wants to let his son do this, and he's going to go off and pass the torch essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the stuff that the owners did, and the whole thing of they were making a replica painting that they were going to try and sell as an original that had nothing to do with Bob Ross in the first place and stuff like that. It's like, Jesus.
That shocked me. That did.
Yeah.
That very much shocked me, because then we won't know. There's not really any legitimacy of where the Bob Ross paintings actually are. There was they show a clip of a Wired, I think it was Wired, YouTube video where they tried to track down the original Bob Ross paintings.
Yeah. And
they spoke to, Annette Kowalski and whatnot, and she said, "Oh, I'm the only officiator of what is a real Bob Ross painting or not." And then immediately after we hear that guy in the factory say, "Yeah, I've seen people put Bob Ross paint signatures onto paintings."
Yeah.
And then so to sell them as originals, and they're not.
Yeah.
And I feel like that the whole corporate side of it just seems to bleed out, and it's quite ugly, to be honest. That side of it, especially with the fact that the Kowalskis take legal action against anyone who seems to rub them wrong.
Yes, because there was a whole thing of there was supposed to be more people in this documentary, but they didn't want to do it because they were scared of getting sued.
They were scared of getting sued. Yeah, we even see that Dana Jester is on the phone in one particular part of the documentary, and he says, "Oh right, okay." He's speaking to someone on the phone. He puts the phone down and says, "Yeah, they've quit out as well. They don't want to do it."
Yeah. Because
they're aware of the Kowalski's penchant for taking legal action against anyone.
Yeah.
Who is against them, and or speaks out on what's happened to on the Bob Ross or Bob Ross Inc. So, what did you think of the inclusion of, especially that sort of corporate side? They spoke to people in the paint factory, and
to be fair, I feel like it added a bit more, I guess, legitimacy to it. Because if you're talking to his son and you're talking to his friend, you're getting family connections, right? And so you're like, okay, they're family, they understand Bob Ross, they know his emotions because they're with him most of the time. Mm-hmm. But when you start to add people who are more behind the scenes, it adds more of a this is how it was, because even people who aren't in the forefront and aren't really connected to Bob Ross other than being colleagues or they worked with him or worked for the company, it adds more of a legitimate thing of this is what happened, because even these people are saying it's what happened. It just adds more people and it adds another point of view and it adds more of a they're not going to be biased because they've not really got a connection to them. They're just doing their job, and even they're saying what's happening. I liked it. I think it was good that they were in it.
One feature that I thought particularly struck a chord was Bob Ross's series, The Joy of Painting, was on Netflix at a time. Do you remember?
Yes, it was.
There was two series. There was like Bob Ross Relax and Paint or whatever, and Bob Ross The Best of the Joy of Painting, something like that, right?
Yeah.
And within, I don't know, a couple of months or something, they were removed quite quickly, right, quite swiftly. And here in the UK, Bob Ross has a free YouTube channel that you can go and watch that previously had every single episode of The Joy of Painting on it, right? Yes. And now they have about, 3, 4 free ones, and the rest are behind geo barriers where you can't watch them because you're in this country.
Yes.
Now, do you know why that is, Corey?
I'm going to hazard a guess. It's because they've just blocked it in all the countries or something.
Yes, they blocked it in every country apart from the USA.
Yeah. Because
they've sold off the rights to the television show to BBC 4, right?
Yes.
So we can't watch them on YouTube. So sure, copies exist, and if you go to this isn't like a plug, but if you go to like sites like Dailymotion or whatever, or like Vimeo, like YouTube alternate sites, right?
Yeah.
They're all available up there. They're all on there. But it's just YouTube, they seem to have blocked them all. And I don't obviously have a VPN, then you can pretty much get around that. But it's just there's blatant disregard, honestly blatant disrespect for Bob Ross's legacy.
Yeah.
Especially because they say that, they want to keep Bob Ross's legacy and keep the Bob Ross dream alive or whatever. The Bob Ross dream alive was not about making money.
No. That
was not Bob Ross's message. And he always said that. Even in the show, he always said that. It's never about the money. It's never about the money when you paint. It's about enjoying it.
Yeah, exactly.
The money just helps.
Yeah.
And what's most insulting to me is they've rebooted the series, and they're not doing it with Steve. They're doing it with some fellow called Nick Hankins, who appears to be some instructor they've just roped in, right? If you look on the Bob Ross YouTube channel right now.
Let me real time.
Okay, real time. Have a look. I'll speak a bit more about the documentary.
Yeah.
Yes, this was also built up quite a bit. There was a lot of talk of a Bob Ross documentary coming out, sort of a real life truth documentary about. I knew it was about his business partners and about his sort of company already, because there was a bit of rumblings about that, and I suspected that it was to do with what happened after he died, after his estate. Effectively, his estate got no money from his death, and they forced his half brother to sign away his name because he wouldn't do it while he was sick with lymphoma. He wouldn't sign away his own name, so they effectively got his brother to do it, which is just sad. I think it's horrendous, to be honest with you. And to treat his son like that, to treat Steve like that, I think it's incredibly shameful, to be very honest with you. Have you discovered anything?
Yeah, so I'm on the YouTube channel. Literally, it's pretty much all the new guy.
Yeah.
There's a children's book.
Yep.
That has happened, and it's the one thing that bugs me. First off, I've gone to the comments of one of the latest video, and thankfully, everyone in the comments is essentially saying, "Don't watch it."
Yeah.
Because
the Netflix documentary, everyone's pointing to them. Yeah.
My main issue is, right, it's called keeping the Bob Ross dream alive. You see in the thumbnail some random guy, and all you see in the thumbnail is this massive words Bob Ross in like small text underneath is keeping the dream alive.
Yeah.
And I hate that because you're putting that because people are going to see Bob Ross and not the actual name of the show.
And people are going to want to watch, but no, it's not Bob Ross. It's this random man off the.
It's some guy who has no connection to him at all.
No, it's some guy who has a connection to him at all, who may have taught like a Bob Ross class once or something.
Exactly. And that's
all you get.
Yeah.
But I feel like they've disrespected the Bob Ross the mantra, because a man who never wanted any money, a man who was just about having fun and living life, coming from a military background, coming from Alaska, who he said that what his nickname in the armed forces was. He was a master drill sergeant.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
His nickname was Bust 'em Up Bobby. because he'd shout. Basically his job was to shout at you,
Right.
shout at you for cleaning your bed, cleaning the toilet, you know,
Yeah.
cleaning the floor, 20 push-ups. He was like a drill sergeant, right? It was like Full Metal Jacket, but with Bob Ross.
Oh God. Someone
He was
deepfake that, please.
Yeah, he was like, down on the floor, 20 press-ups kind of thing. That was his job. A jelly donut, that was his job.
I want
right?
to see Bob Ross shout, "Show me your war face."
Show me a war face. That was Bob Ross, basically.
Yeah.
And when he left the Air Force, he said that he swore to himself that he'd never raise his voice again to anybody. He'd always be mellow, and then he was for the rest of his life. He never raised his voice again, and he was a calm man for the rest of his life. He put that behind him, and I respect that.
Exactly.
And it was nice seeing all the classic pictures. I like how they showed, Bob Ross with Dana in like New York and stuff, and having a good time with Steve. Because I recognised all these figures. I'm a fan. I recognised all these people, and it was nice to have them back. And it's still nice that Steve, despite everything, is still painting. He's still teaching.
So I searched up what he's doing actually, and he's recently come back and he's doing workshops and stuff. It is good to see. He's teaching the same technique.
Yep, same thing. Obviously, he can't use. It's a shame he can't use his name.
No.
They got him. They got them on. They got him on legal for what I'm calling it Steve Ross Art Supplies. Where they trademarked the last name Ross.
Yeah, that's a bit bad, isn't it?
That's a bit. That's more than a bit bad, Corey. That's
spell
very
it.
bad.
Spell it differently.
Rosk.
Yes, with a silent K.
And even the son of the man. What was his name? Lawrence Kapp or something.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, the son of the man who initially made the paint supplies had also gotten legal ramifications for backing up Steve because his dad and his dad as well had supported Bob in that way. So what irked me? I'm just going to mention this: the whole thing about the flowers.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
A little bit.
That these two people. I didn't know about these two people called the Jenkins. The Jenkins husband. Oh, by the way, that guy, the Jenkins guy, right, with the hat and the mustache, he was my favourite character in this whole thing. I like Steve, but he just seemed like a real guy. But what irked me was how they always said that Bob Ross always used to say that, I'm good at painting landscapes. If you want to paint flowers, go and watch the Jenkins.
Yes.
But then they start bringing out Bob Ross and flower painting with Annette Kowalski.
Yeah.
And they use the same parts of their book or very similar. Do you remember that part?
It's coming back to me.
Taking the parts of like their book and almost lifting it word for word, picture for picture. That was disgraceful to me. I couldn't believe that.
I mean, it's just money, innit? And that's the whole.
They're greedy, exactly.
That's the whole problem.
It's their competitors, and they just see fit to take their competitors' business, which I don't think Bob would never have agreed with.
No.
And it's true that he never agreed with any of the practices. He didn't like to talk about it. He never agreed with any of their sort of business practices. And a devastating fact to me. Now we know that Bob Ross is famous for happy trees, happy mountains.
Yes.
Happy little rivers, happy bushes, beat the devil out of it. But beat the devil out of it was, I feel, somewhat tainted by the fact that, I don't know what his name was, the other guy with the hat and the glasses, this sort of old friend, artist friend.
I can't remember his name.
Who suspected that it was, in fact, the paint thinner that had caused his lymphoma. Now, it was also suspected on the internet that it was to do with the paints.
Could be.
The paints contained lead or something like that. Back when paints would be full of nasty chemicals, things like that. So like lead and stuff, but especially sniffing paint thinner is kind of something that you do to effectively get high, effectively. So the fact that he was slapping the brush on the thing.
Yeah.
Pretty much every episode. It was rare you'd see an episode where Bob Ross would not beat the brush.
Exactly, it was a constant thing.
Yeah, and that's not a euphemism, by the way.
Yes.
It was he'd take his brush after he'd done some. I'm doing the motion after he'd done some sky or sea or whatever. He'd dip it in the paint thinner, and then he'd give it a shake into a box, and then he'd whack the brush on the leg of the easel.
Exactly.
paint particles would fly everywhere, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you could often see he'd often record 3-4 shows a day, right?
Yeah.
So that's 4 shows a day of brushwhacking. And you can see on that, like, you can see the marks on the easel where he's done it beforehand, half an hour later.
Yeah, it'll be a constant thing that just being exposed to it constantly.
Yeah, which is awful. And imagine all the paintings he did on TV. Imagine all the paintings he didn't do
It's exactly.
on TV as well, being exposed to those sort of chemicals, which is completely awful, I think. And don't go near paint thinner, guys. Don't sniff it.
Yeah.
Public service announcement.
Yes.
Don't do it. Don't do it. But we both separately watched the documentary. And I think this is the
Correct.
first time we're sort of talking about it at length with what we think with each other.
Yes.
Did you give it a real rating? Did you think about that while you were watching?
I thought about it, and I was kind of torn what to give it. Because, like, well, on one hand, it's good. And, like, the first half where we learn about his upbringing and military and the wet technique, and I was like, cool, that's nice. And the second half, I liked and I hated it at the same time.
How so?
Because I liked it because it was really good and really informative. I hated it because of what happened.
Yeah.
It's one of them things where, like, it's great, but also it's you're sitting there and you're getting mad because of what happened and how he was treated and all the stuff that went on.
Yeah, and you feel terrible about it, even though...
Yeah, and part of me is like, I like the documentary, so I want to give it a good rating, but like I don't like what happened to him, so I'm like, It's one of these, like, half and half, but I think I think I know what I'd give it.
Right. First off, I'd like to say that the Real Show's official policy is we do stand with Bob Ross. We're Bob Ross fans. I'm not a fan of his company or Annette and Walt Kowalski, but I'm a fan of the man himself and what the man stood for and the man's values, and I still think I could probably still watch his program and still be all right with it.
Yeah.
But I feel like the business side and the corporate side of it and making all the money and, Bob Ross body pillows and Bob Ross bedspreads and Bob Ross lunch boxes and Bob Ross, window cleaner and lamp shades and everything, that's just too far. And that's not what he wanted in life, so...
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is a shame, because I own that Bob Ross pop vinyl.
See,
I quite like it.
I've been close to getting it so many times.
Yeah, I actually do. And I think about it now and I go, I feel like, where did that money go to? Hopefully to pop vinyl and not to Bob Ross Incorporated.
And the store you bought it from.
Yes, exactly. But in another breath, let's give it a rating, shall we? No, before we do, I love that Bob Ross was into fast cars. Just gonna say that's something I didn't know about. But when Dana Jester was like, and Bob pulled up in this sports car, and I said, Bob, what are you gonna do? And Bob took off his sunglasses and looked at me and was like, I'm gonna take you on a thrill ride, bro. Imagine Bob Ross doing that. Afro, shirt, jeans, pulling up in a fresh whip, whipping off his sunglasses and going, you ready for a thrill ride, dude?
After someone's deepfaked him onto Full Metal Jacket, because someone deepfaked him onto, like, Vin Diesel from Fast and Furious.
Yeah. He's pulling up in his sports car. I love that, because that just seems perfectly Bob.
It does.
But it also seems like something Bob wouldn't do.
Yeah.
It's in that perfect grey area of something that I could imagine Bob Ross doing, loving sports cars and going out for thrill rides on fast lanes and fast cars, but also it's something I imagine Bob Ross wouldn't do. It's that amazing. It seems perfectly in character, but also I wouldn't picture him doing that.
Exactly.
It's a perfect mold. But let's give it a rating, shall we? I'll let you go first.
I think I'm gonna give it. I'll give it an 8.
8, yeah, I was gonna go 8 as well. Actually,
okay.
I thought you'd go lower. I was gonna give it an 8.
I was torn between 7.5 and 8, but I thought I'd give it an 8.
Actually, no, I'll go 8.5 now.
Okay, fair enough.
I'll go 1 point. I'll go 5 point higher. What are you gonna give it the 8 for? I'm gonna give it the 8 for the portrayal of Bob Ross.
Yes.
Very solid. Still, kind-hearted, soulful man. The attention to detail to the documentary was very nice as well.
It was.
I appreciate the attention to detail. Another thing I appreciated was I think the overall construction of the documentary was good. It seemed very... It was attention to detail, but nothing seemed out of place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It was an attention to detail. Of course, we've studied documentaries before.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, I didn't quite enjoy it, but maybe if I'd done this one, I would have enjoyed it. Actually, I'll tell you something. When we first... This probably won't be in the podcast edit, but radio listeners, you may get to listen to this. When we first did our documentary module, do you remember? And we were given, like... We ended up doing foreign students.
Oh, do you mean like the one you made?
Yeah, the one you made. Yeah, the first one you made during first year. Do you remember?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, but my initial idea was to do Bob Ross.
We did
was to do his life and times.
We
I
did
thought it'd be
horses.
nice to research.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to do something fun. I want to do something easy. Everyone loves Bob Ross.
Yeah,
Let's
exactly.
do it, right? And I was outvoted.
This could have been you on Netflix, Murray.
This could have been me on Netflix, yeah. But I got outvoted, unfortunately. What did you end up making? I don't even know.
Horses.
What?
We did a documentary about there's a common near the uni which is full of horses.
Right.
And we were like, oh, why it used to be a horse racing track. And so we interviewed people who teach horse riding on the commons about what it used to be and the horses on the commons.
Oh, wow.
We initially had a much bigger idea of we'll do a whole history of horse racing and what happened. And then us being uni students, it kind of just turned into we're going to interview people about horses.
Of course it did.
Yes.
Well, better than when I was free.
To be fair, I got outvoted.
No, okay.
So it's fine. It wasn't my idea.
What was your idea?
I wanted to interview buskers about why they busk and why they play music.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
But I got outvoted for horses.
Okay, but for the last few minutes,
Yep.
right? We're gonna play a Bob Ross trivia game, right?
We are.
Let's have some fun. Let's play some Bob Ross trivia before Corey's weekly rec. Okay?
Yes.
We've got 10 questions. Now I've not written these. This is on funtrivia.com. Shout out to you, funtrivia.com.
Yeah.
And we're going to play a Bob Ross trivia game, right? I'm going to read you the questions, and we're
Yep.
going to try and put the average score is apparently 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Difficulty average, we're going to get 10 out of 10, aren't we, Corey?
We definitely are.
Here we go. Question 1. Are you ready?
Go for it.
It's time for trivia time. It's Bob Ross trivia time. Okay. In which southern state was Bob Ross born that well matches his sunshine personality? Okay, here we are. We have A, Texas, B, Mississippi, C, Alabama, or D, Florida.
I mean,
I'm going to say Florida.
Florida is, I believe, the Sunshine State.
Yes, we'll go Florida. Right. Question 2.
Okay.
Between his time in school and enlisting in the armed forces, Bob Ross spent some time working for his father, Jack Ross, a carpenter. What sort of injury did Bob Ross receive at this time which left permanent damage? Is it A, he lost his big toe on his right foot, B, he suffered blindness in his right eye, C, he suffered a ruptured eardrum in his left ear, or D, he lost a part of his finger on his left hand? What do you think?
I think I remember him having all his fingers.
No, I think it's his finger.
Do you think it's his finger?
I think I read somewhere that it's his pinky finger
Okay.
that he lost a part of, and that's where he holds his palate, so you never see it.
Go finger.
Okay, I think it's his finger. I think you can get, if I'm wrong, you can get me. But
Possibly.
I think I read somewhere that it's where he holds his palate. That's why you never see it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right. Question 3.
Okay.
Before he became known for his painting, Bob was a proud veteran in the U.S. Armed Forces. In which brand did he serve? Is it A, U.S. Army, B, U.S. Marine Corps, C, U.S. Navy, or D, U.S. Air Force? Is it the U.S. Army? If you're a drill sergeant, you're either in the Army or the Marine Corps.
Yeah. I'm trying
Metal
to think.
Jacket's Marine Corps, isn't it?
Yes.
I'm gonna go A or B, Army or Marine Corps. That's my. What do you think?
What are the others?
It's U.S. Army, U.S. Marine Corps, U.S. Navy, or U.S. Air Force.
I don't think
it's the Air Force.
It might have been the Air Force.
Do you think it's the Air? I might gonna go Air Force.
Go Air Force. Why not?
Right, that's D, Air Force.
The Air Force.
Question 4. During much of his career, Bob served at a base in a particular state that might have been described as the frontier. Which state was it? A, Alaska, B, Hawaii, C, California, or D, Maine? I'm going to say Alaska.
Yeah, go for Alaska.
Alaska, easy question.
Yeah, I mean, we did mention that in the...
We did mention Alaska, yeah. They mention it in the documentary, don't they?
Yeah.
Right, question 5. Halfway through. We're going, wow, we're doing this.
We're blitzing through it. Go on.
Yeah, we are. Question 5. While in the armed forces, Bob was inspired by an artist that he viewed on the television. Which artist was this? Is it A, Thomas Kincaid, B, Albert Dawn, C, John Gagney, or D, Bill Alexander?
That's mentioned as... I forgot his bloody name.
I think it's Bill Alexander. I think wasn't he the German man?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it was Bill Alexander. Are you happy to back me up?
I'm very happy to back you up.
Okay, Bill Alexander. Right, question 6. Inspired by an artist he saw on television, Bob Ross would begin his own television art program in 1983.
Yes.
What was the name of this program?
It's
right. Is it A, Art in Action?
Right.
B, The Joy of Painting?
Mm-hmm.
C, Paint This? Or D, 100 Great Paintings?
I mean, it's the joy of painting.
It's The Joy of Painting, yeah, obviously. B, The Joy of Painting.
I do quite like Paint This.
Paint it's like an action movie line. Yeah, like, paint this, and then you throw a paintbrush at someone. Right. Question 7.
Yeah.
While Bob Ross was generally a very private person, he is known for being married 3 times. How many children did Bob Ross have from his marriages?
Oh, well, you got Steve.
Well, yeah. Okay. A, Bob Ross had 1 son.
Mm-hmm.
B, Bob Ross had 1 daughter and 1 son. C, Bob Ross had 1 daughter. Or D, Bob Ross had no children. I think if we're going with Steve, Bob Ross had 1 son.
I think he's only got 1 son. If not, the other kid is very low profile.
I'm going to say, we know about, let's go Bob Ross had 1 son.
Yeah.
Right, question 8. Generally speaking, how many copies of a painting would Bob Ross generally create for his 1980s, 1990s television art program? Okay, is it A, 3 copies, B, 1 copy, C, 2 copies, or D, 4 copies?
I mean, logically, you would think he would paint 1. However,
yeah, for the TV show, but we know he painted. He did like a attempt at it, didn't he? He did like a one beforehand.
Yeah, you'd think that maybe he'll paint it before and then he'll do it afterwards again for the show.
Oh, did you say 2?
I don't think he's doing like an art attack. Here's what I painted earlier.
No.
2 makes. I can't see it being like 4.
3. Do you think it was 3?
It could be 3.
Because I think this is me drawing from my. I think he did. I think it's 3. I think he did 1 beforehand, 1 for the television, and he had like instructional books as well. What do you think he just did?
Oh, that's a good
2.
point.
I think he did 1 for the books. Because I think that's where his money came from. He didn't get any money for the show.
No, he didn't.
He only got money from the art supplies and from the art books. So I think it was from the. I think it was 3.
It could be if he's doing it for the art book as well. Yeah, you would have to do it again. So 3. It could be 3.
3. That's option A.
Okay, we'll go 3.
Right. Okay. Imagine if we get none of these right. But if we get all of them right, it'll be a major victory. Okay. Question 9. Here we go.
Okay.
Bob Ross died at the young age of 52.
Yes.
What was the cause of his death?
It was cancer.
Yeah. It was A, lymphoma. I think we know that already.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear the other options?
Sure.
Okay. B, drowning. C, car accident. Or D, heart attack. Well, cancer may lead to a heart attack.
Yeah.
But
we know. Yeah.
we know it's for lymphoma.
It'd be lymphoma.
There we go. Now, question 10.
Here we go.
Bob's legacy continued after his death. A 2015 television advertisement for HGTV Sherwin-Williams included portrayals of several well-known artists, including Bob Ross. Which other 20th century artist represented the United States along with Bob? Right, I don't know this one.
Oh, God.
Is it A, Jackson Pollock, B, Frank Gasparo, C, Norman Rockwell, or D, Andy Warhol? Now, I don't think Andy Warhol is from America.
He's the only one I know the name of, unfortunately.
Oh,
it's Andy
Norman
Warhol.
I think it might be Norman Rockwell. Is Norman Rockwell... Well, the Rockwell Centre, right? It's in America. Andy Warhol. Is Andy Warhol American? I don't even know. I don't want to look it up. That's cheating.
Yeah.
I don't think Andy Warhol's American, though. Right, we're gonna have to make a decision here.
Just have to pick one.
They'll be pushed. If we were on a game show, they'll be pushing us for an answer.
There would be. It's like you got to pick one.
You got to pick an answer. It's like we're on the chase, but
Yeah.
there's 4 options.
Just boom.
It's like we're on the wheel. Yeah, okay. It's like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And this is the $1 million.
Yes.
This is the £1 million question. Right. On the count of 3, we're gonna both say a letter A, B, or C, or D. Right. If we say the same letter, then we have to pick that person. Okay. 3, 2, 1. A.
B.
Oh no.
Well then. Anyone got a coin?
No, I've not got a coin.
I've got a coin.
Oh right. Okay. Well, it's gonna be A or B. So. Oh, I swear if it's Frank Gasparo and I've never heard of him before.
Right. Okay. So heads is A, tails is B.
Okay. Go on then.
Right. Here we go. That's heads.
Heads at A.
That's A.
Right, Jackson Pollock, here we go. Are you
Pollock.
ready, Corey?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sign of the cross, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Submit answers. It's loading.
Oh, tension.
Right, what did we get right? Okay, first question we got correct.
Okay.
Second question we got correct.
Nice.
Third question we got correct.
Okay.
Fourth question we got correct.
Yep.
Fifth question we got correct.
Okay.
Sixth question we got correct.
Mhm.
Seventh question we got correct.
Oh god.
Eighth question we got correct. Ninth question we got correct.
Oh no.
We got it wrong.
Who was it?
It was Andy Warhol.
Oh.
Oh, I didn't even think he was American. I didn't think he was American. I thought he was British. Oh, you were right, 'cause you said Andy Warhol, didn't you?
No. I said I'm avoiding Andy Warhol.
Oh, 9 out of 10, Corey. Not too bad.
That's nice. All right.
Not too shabby. We beat the average.
We did.
We beat the average. We beat the average 6 out of 10. We got 9 out of 10. So there we go. Here we go. Let's read the actual extended answer. The other artists featured in this advertisement were Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Vincent van Gogh. Andy Warhol was known for his silkscreen paintings of Marilyn Monroe and Campbell's soup cans. Oh, he does the 4 painting thing.
Yeah.
Bob's influence on popular art was significant. He was worth an estimated $6 million at the time of his death, along with 2.5 million copies of his how-to books and over 1,000 certified instructors trained by Bob Ross Incorporated, who we know are not very good people. So there's that. And I think we did very well. 9 out of 10 isn't bad at all.
I'll take it.
Exactly. We got pretty good statistics on that. So we enjoyed that little game. We definitely had fun with it. But let's go on to our weekly rec, and I will pass it over to you, Corey. Take it away.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to figure out what to recommend. I struggled with this one a little bit because, Bob Ross. I could recommend The Joy of Painting, but no, I won't do that.
Yeah, that'd be obvious.
It's a bit obvious, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to try and avoid recommending anything Bob Ross in case the company get money.
Yeah.
And I was trying to go, okay, right, let's go down the painting route, right? Let's go, what we got? You got older stuff, like our generation, like Art Attack.
Yep.
Bit of Mr. Maker.
Oh, yep.
I can't really think, there are others that have escaped my mind. I was like, What encapsulates art that I like? And then I remembered there's a certain YouTube channel where there's a lot of art stuff that I quite enjoy. And I think people will also quite enjoy.
Yes.
So I'm going to recommend the YouTube channel. So it's all free. You can go watch all of it. It's great. Of Jazzer. Also known as Draw with Jazzer, but now he's just called Jazzer. He's got rid of the two names. He does everything. He mainly draws digital stuff and paints and kind of does sketches and all that sort of stuff. But he also has done stuff with clay and carving and wood and making stuff out of rubbish and
5.63 million subscribers.
Yep. he's done all sorts. He's essentially kind of like Art Attack, but on a YouTube scale.
Yeah.
He's just really good fun and really good with art. He just makes stuff out of everything. He
also has several Bob Ross episodes.
Yes, that's the other thing. He has painted alongside Bob Ross while being blindfolded.
He's painted alongside Bob Ross with only the audio.
Yeah.
Or twice as fast as Bob. Or using upside down goggles.
Yep. Which
is probably very hard.
He's done several stuff. It's just really fun. I quite like it. Encapsulates the same thing as Bob. It's just fun. And a lot of his stuff sometimes it just isn't great when he makes it.
Yeah.
And he's open about that. He's like, well, there you go, it messed up.
I know he's an Aussie, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
And I'm a fan of the Aussies. I like a good Australian, I do. So, Yeah, go out and give one of. Would you recommend one of his videos? Pick one out.
Any of the Bob Ross ones.
Yeah, any of the Bob Ross ones. Go out and give them a watch. Just probably searching Jazzer Bob Ross, and you'll probably find it.
You'll find them.
There's a playlist here actually, 7 videos.
There you go.
You can give it a watch. Would you like to give his channel a rating or give one of the?
If we're going overall channel, but 8.5 out of 10.
5. Give it a 9. Go on.
Okay, cool. 9 out of 10.
Nice. I got easy. I pushed you on that.
Easily influenced, yeah.
Yeah.
Give
exactly.
it a 9. Yeah, right.
9 out of 10 for Jazz's channel. There we go. I'll give that a watch. So, but as always, it's goodbye from me and a goodbye from Corey.
Goodbye.
And happy times, happy painting. God bless, my friend.